Welcome to the Turnpike Sports Pro Football Show. I'm Doug Weischadle here with Dave Weischadle. The Turnpike Sports Pro Football Show is presented by Caesars Sportsbook. Caesars Sportsbook, the home of Caesars Rewards. Caesars has been with us all throughout the regular season. They're going to be with us through the NFL playoffs as well as throughout the Super Bowl, the big game, however you want to phrase it. Mm-hmm. And just for the end of the season, or actually they were about 3/4 of the way through the season, they introduced a brand new promo, and I want to give that information out. If you head on over to Caesars.com/sportsbook-n-casino, I know that's a long domain name, but that's the way you got to get to it. When you register and make your first deposit, use our promo code PIKE DYW. DYW stands for double your winnings, and what that means is with this new offer, when you make your first cash wager of at least $1 or more, Caesars Sportsbook will give you 10 100% profit boosts to use on other sporting events after you make that wager.
Okay.
That's where the double your winnings comes in. 100% profit boost is double your winnings.
By the way, we were just in Caesars in Atlantic City, and it has to be one of my favorite sports books in Atlantic City.
It's beautiful. It's big. It's one of the first ones, too, as a matter of fact.
It's one of my favorites because it's that stadium seating kind of thing. We have these two different types of sports books. One that looks like a sports bar where, like any other bar you walk into, but it has windows. But this one is Caesars is a classic sports book. The stadium seating, it's huge, it's great, lots of room. I love it.
And as always, 21 and older. Terms and conditions apply on the new promo. And if there's problem gambling, 800-GAMBLER.
Yep.
We're here in the last week of the season,
which is extremely difficult for me because the first week and the last week are always difficult in the NFL season for me because the first week you don't know what your team has, because, for me anyway, preseason has become meaningless. The starters never play, so you really don't know how they, interact with each other. But the last week is difficult because a lot of teams that have made the playoffs are sitting their starters. So, you have to be very careful. We always keep saying watch the lines. Well, this week you really have to pay attention to who's playing and how long they're playing for and what the team motivation is. So keep an eye. It's always difficult for me the last week.
Well, I've begun using the first 2 to 3 weeks of the regular season as the preseason.
See that? Well, so do NFL teams.
Yeah. And it's the only way you can approach it. But anyway, we have here is what we've been doing all season long. We're in the last week of the regular season, but we've been looking back every show at the previous weeks and go through the stats and facts from the that previous weekend's game.
It seems like NFL history is made every week. It's just absolutely incredible what's happening. This is the first year we're doing this kind of history and looking back at the week before. And I have been amazed at the records that were broken and the NFL history and the milestones. And it's just absolutely incredible each week in the NFL.
Well, it is. And this show notes that I have in front of me here, just for transparency's sake, has grown from a page and a half from week 1.
Okay.
To 3 pages.
Wow. Okay.
By week 17. And, we got stats like only 17 quarterbacks have started every game for their teams this season. Only 17 quarterbacks have started. Every game for their teams.
Yeah.
Everybody's been getting hurt a lot.
Yeah,
so
well,
there's also been some benchings in there, too, here and there. We had Sam Darnold. He made history in the first season with the new team. We have Saquon Barkley, most rushing yards with the new team.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's an incredible story right there.
Sure.
He is
that's
really
one
in
of
the
those
mix for MVP talk.
Well,
he won't get it.
Look, MVP
likely.
is traditionally, I shouldn't say always, but it's traditionally, and it's especially recently, it's a quarterback award.
Yes.
So, I really think Josh Allen has that one sewn up, but who knows?
Yep.
And every week is different, like I said.
And we've also got the Christmas games to talk about this time, too. So there's been a lot of different stats coming out all week long, previous week here. And I'm just going to try and blast right through these. Starting off, we have Kansas City tight ends Travis Kelce catching his 1,000th reception on Christmas Day. Kelce also has the most touchdown receptions in franchise history. He broke the tie with Tony Gonzalez.
Yeah. And he did the slam in tribute. So
over in Baltimore, Lamar Jackson, their quarterback, became the all-time leading rusher at the quarterback position, passing Michael Vick. Derrick Henry ran for a franchise record in terms of rushing touchdowns for a season. He'll probably get one more before the end of the year is out. We've got the Bears-Seahawks. That was an interesting game to watch. It was a brutal game to watch. Bears Seahawks was the lowest scoring affair in the NFL season so far.
Yeah.
That
was a
hopefully
rough
the
game to
last
watch,
one.
yeah.
Yep. Second one this season though without a touchdown.
Wow. Yeah,
Yep.
I know it was crazy. I mean, I watched these preseason shows before, and everyone, it didn't even occur to anyone that it'd be that low scoring or no touchdowns, and so it's very interesting. That's why it's so difficult. The handicapping NFL is very difficult.
Yep. So. And Chicago lost for its 10th straight time. That's a franchise record. Let me tell you, they're setting some new franchise records. The first time they fired their coach midseason, now they've got the longest losing streak in the franchise history. They've got a quarterback who has been sacked 67 times going into the final week of the season. That's second all-time for a rookie, fourth in history, regardless of experience. Over in New England, we've got Drake May, his 8th straight game with at least one touchdown pass.
Yeah.
That's a Patriots record for a rookie. Drake May has also, and they may have found their quarterback with this guy.
Well, hopefully they, put some weapons around him and develop them right, and we'll see.
Has 3 touchdown passes this season of at least 35 or more air yards. That's a new stat
air
there.
Yards. Okay.
Yeah, before, it's not the yards after catch, it's how long it traveled in the air. The most such touchdown passes by a Patriots quarterback since Tom Brady in 2009.
That's good company.
Yep. Also for the Patriots, historic low in terms of franchise history. They clinched a sub-300 winning percentage in back-to-back seasons for the first time.
Yep, and as we sit now, they have the number 1 draft pick, so we'll see what happens with them.
But let me finish the stat. First time since the 68-69 Boston Patriots.
Wow.
The AFL's Boston Patriots. Over in Cincinnati, we've got Joe Burrow, the fourth quarterback in NFL history to have 10 games with 250 plus passing yards and 3 touchdown passes in a single season. Also, Burrow had his 8th straight game with 3 or more passing touchdowns, tied for the second longest streak in NFL history. Tom Brady, 10 in 2007.
Wow. Okay.
Rams, first time they've had 3 straight wins with under 20 points in a game.
Okay.
First time in history for the team.
Wow. All right.
Going over to the Jets-Bills game, that was a disaster of monumental proportions for the New York team.
I actually hit the over that. I was a little worried going into the fourth quarter, but wow, boy, I was sweating that one out. But
we got a bunch of stats coming out of that game. We've got Garrett Wilson, the Jets wide receiver, first Jets receiver to have 3 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons to start his career. Also, the 5th player in NFL history to record at least 80 receptions and 1,000 yards in each of his first 3 seasons. He joins Odell Beckham, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and Michael Thomas in that feat.
Okay.
And also, Garrett Wilson became the first Jets player since George Sauer.
Wow.
To record 3 straight 1,000 receiving yard seasons.
George Sauer was a wide receiver with Joe Namath.
1966 to 68.
Jeez.
Aaron Rodgers became the NFL's most sacked quarterback in history. Also, he had his first unnecessary roughness penalty called against him.
I saw that. Yeah, yes. I didn't know what the hell that was about, but that was frustration. That was just you can see the entire Jets organization is just frustrated, and the news stories coming out of what's going on with them is just ridiculous. So.
We have a couple other stats. Josh Allen now has 65 rushing touchdowns, tied him with Hall of Fame running back Thurman Thomas.
Wow. Okay.
For most rushing touchdowns in Bills history. O.J. Simpson is 3rd.
Okay.
Also, the 20th consecutive season, the NFC East has not had a repeat winner.
Yeah, it seems like every year there's some. I hate that, but I kind of love it at the same time. Your team always has a chance. Washington came out of nowhere, so I expect them to do big things next year and really compete for that top spot in the conference. So it's a fascinating a place to watch football, the NFC East.
Yes. Going over to a actual sports betting note, we have the Tennessee Titans making history, becoming the only team in the Super Bowl era to fail to cover the spread in 14 games during a season.
Okay, there you go.
Yep. At 2-14.
See, that's good to know. I mean,
that's
as a bettor, you want to know something like that.
The Titans secured the worst record this season against the spread of any team since 1978. when the league went to a 16-game slate.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so they made some really dubious history there.
Yeah.
Cleveland Browns, we have Myles Garrett making history with 2 sacks in the game to give him 14 on the season. First player in NFL history to have 14 sacks in 4 straight seasons.
Yep.
That's good to see there.
I think it's the first 4 straight seasons. It is
first to have 4
seasons. Yeah, so
exactly.
absolutely amazing. The one bright spot, I think, coming out of the Browns.
Washington-Atlanta game featured the third game between rookie quarterbacks in NFL history. It's also the third game rookie quarterbacks had winning records going into a game facing each other. Giants, Tyrone Tracy and Malik Neighbors, third rookie duo in NFL history to have 1,000-plus scrimmage yards in the same season.
Can I say the Giants are just when the Giants won, which is the worst thing that could have happened to them long term for the thing, they dropped out of having the number 1 draft pick to the number 4 draft pick. And by the way, if the Eagles take all of their starters out and the Giants win, they could drop down to number 9. I'm not quite. I listened to New York sports media after that game, and the word that devastation came over. People were saying, what are they doing? What are they thinking? Why now did they start doing this where it's just ridiculous now? So I don't know, as you know, this is one time, I want the Eagles to do well in the first half. I want Barkley to get the record, and then everyone taken out, and hopefully the Giants win and drop down to the 9th spot. So
okay.
If they're looking for a quarterback out of the draft, I'm not sure they're going to get it if they
not this year.
Continue their winning ways. No. I didn't think I'd actually say that about the Giants, but it's crazy. I know a lot of fans of the Giants aren't very happy with that win. And
since we're for time constraints, I'm going to go quickly through 3 tight end records.
And I will shut up.
No, it's okay. George Kittle, San Francisco tight end, broke 1,000 receiving yards on his Monday night game. That's the 4th 1,000-yard season for his career. One of just 5 tight ends. 2 reached that milestone: Travis Kelce, Tony Gonzalez, Rob Gronkowski, Jason Witten. Okay. There's a name you haven't heard in a while.
All right.
Raiders tight end Brock Bowers broke a pair of rookie records. He 108 receptions, past Puka Nakua's NFL rookie record of 105 set just last year, and his 1,144 receiving yards passed Mike Ditka for the most receiving yards for a rookie tight end in NFL history. But Ditka did it in 14 seasons to set his record. We're now 17 weeks. There's a lot of people saying you can't really compare the two, but this is great to see all these records.
It's a different kind of game nowadays, and the tight end has really evolved, and things like that. So, but I love this segment because you're throwing out names that I haven't heard in a long time, which was great. You grow up watching these guys play, and to hear them again makes you feel kind of good. So.
And last stat is Sam Laporta, the Detroit Detroit Lions tight end. I almost said Detroit Titans. 5th Lions player with at least 7 touchdowns this season, the most amount of players the team has had in franchise history scoring 7 touchdowns.
Okay.
That's it for the stats. Really interesting stuff happening each and every week with the NFL. More and more records set. But here we are talking about records. I went 1-2. You went 2-1 last week in Week 17. One of my worst weeks.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know what the records are now. I kind of stopped.
We're flashing them on the screen right now.
I don't even know, so I'm not even paying attention anymore.
I have.
You know what? I'm concentrating on the games.
Yes, there you go.
I'm not even paying attention.
We're moving on to Week 18.
All right.
Yeah. So, but anyway, the records are up on the screen right now. I still have about a 6.5 game lead on you. Something like that. So,
right. Yeah, a half game because I think I have a push.
You have one push.
Yeah,
yes.
So.
I didn't get a push this year. Last year I had 2, and the year before that I had 2.
The regular season isn't over. You have one more week.
Yeah, hopefully I don't get 3 pushes.
Yep.
But anyway, here we are, Week 18, final week of the regular season, and what we've been doing all season is a competition between me and Dave. We pick 3 games each. We use Caesars Sportsbook midweek lines, so please check the lines before you make a bet this weekend games, final season.
Absolutely.
They will be changing depending on who's playing and
watch
who's not
the
playing.
Lineups. Watch the lineups. Who knows who's playing or being taken out or how long they're playing for.
Since we're using midweek lines, changes do happen in the lineups after we record the show, but we go with what we have here. Midweek, 3 games each. do point spreads and totals. We do not use money lines for the show here. We do them for our parlays outside the show.
Yeah.
And,
I did well in overs last week. I said, the Jets were, but not for the show, but on my own personal playing there. But I did over in there's another game over in the Green Bay Minnesota game too. So
I actually cashed in a couple tight end props.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so keep an eye out on all these different players, see who's playing or not. That's going to affect a lot of the lines here. So
absolutely.
Good luck with everybody there. Those are the rules for the next segment coming up in the next part of the show here, where we do our analysis and our picks. And again, we're just a competition between ourselves, and we use Caesars Sportsbook lines. We're here at the Turnpike Sports Pro Football Show, presented by Caesars Sportsbook. Right back after this. Doug and Dave from Turnpike Sports here to talk about one of the more unique food delivery concepts that we've come across out in the market today, and that's Try the World.
Oh, it's amazing. But by the way, we've had that box right behind you for a couple days now, and you know how much self-restraint it took for me not to eat through that box? It's just amazing stuff in there.
Well, it's a very unique concept in the marketplace here. One of the things people love about when they travel is trying the foods in the different places, whether it's domestic or international travel. And this is where Try the World comes in, because nowadays some people don't have the money or the time to actually go around traveling all the time.
By the way, if I ever tried to find the foods that are in that box in my local markets, it would take forever. Let me tell you something. Belgian chocolate covered strawberries.
Yes.
Are you kidding me? Look at this. I got all the chocolate stuff out of the box, by the way. Milk chocolate with whole hazelnuts.
Oh, yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Hey, look at these things. One of the things, dry roasted nuts from Japan.
Oh, by the way, I'll be munching on them at the Turnpike bar later today.
Yes.
And look at this. Look at this. This is the first thing that caught my attention opening the box. It's I've never heard of these, but I can't wait to try them. So see, that's the amazing self-control I had, because I would have eaten through that box within an hour of getting it.
Well, if you'd eaten through the box, we wouldn't have anything to talk about
I know.
now.
Well, that's why I didn't do it. So, but thank you, Try the World.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing.
But, Try the World, you can get snacks, drinks, anything really, chocolates, peanuts, all these different things from a different part of the globe delivered right to your door. As a matter of fact, Try the World is very simple to use. Too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Actually, if you go to trytheworld.com, and what you do is when you get to the homepage, you click on this big button that says Start Your Food Journey.
Okay.
Very cool thing to say.
Absolutely.
Start your food journey. And what you do is you go through a list of different ways to organize what you're ordering. You go through, choose the box size, which is dependent upon the number of snacks you want. Then you choose the countries you want the snacks to come from, or they have a button there that says surprise me. So they pick and choose what you want, and then you choose your subscription rate, whether it's 1 month, 6 months, 9 months, over to a year. Well, it's that simple.
Yeah, no, I have to tell you, I was pleasantly surprised, and I can't wait till we're done talking about it so I can start eating it, because I'm eyeing these Belgian chocolate things, by the way.
Well, the one thing everyone has to do when you go to checkout at trytheworld.com is make sure you use our code PIKE, P-I-K-E, to get 10% off your purchase or even your subscription. Whatever you're doing, whether it's one box or a whole year's worth of boxes, you make sure you use the word PIKE when you're going through the checkout, and you'll get 10% off your purchase.
And by the way, it's one of the most unique gifts you can give someone. I mean, it's just amazing, especially this time of gift-giving season. You never know what to give people, and this is perfect for everyone.
Well, this is a perfect gift for everyone else, but also
Absolutely.
You can give yourself the gift, too. There's nothing wrong with giving yourself a gift of Try the World.
Absolutely.
It's one of the best things out there, trytheworld.com, promo code PIKE.
Can I eat now?
I'm hungry.
Okay.
With costs going up, Adam and Eve is the best deal around. With 50% off a sexy adult product at adamandeve.com. That's 50% off right now when you point the camera on your smartphone at the code on the screen. Don't get up. Just open your camera and point it at the screen. Hurry! You'll also get 10 free gifts, including free discreet shipping at checkout. This is your chance to get more for less. So scan now for 50% off plus 10 free gifts from adamandeve.com.
Welcome back to the Turnpike Sports Pro Football Show, presented by Caesars Sportsbook. Caesars Sportsbook, the home of Caesars Rewards. Here we are, Week 18 regular season of the NFL. We've got our last games of the week here.
The scariest week for me anyway, because I don't know who's playing. I don't know what teams are starting their starters or how long they're going to be playing for those. So this is a difficult week for me.
Well, at the end of the previous segment, I went through the rules. I'm going to go through them again real quick for everybody here. We use Caesars Sportsbook midweek lines. As always, check the lines before you make a bet, especially this week. We don't know who's going to be playing.
Yeah, like really. I said, who knows?
Yep, or even how long they're going to be playing. They may play a quarter, may play a half. You never know. But again, check the lines before you make a bet. It's 3 games each. We play against each other. We use point spreads and totals, no money lines. And here we are, Week 18. Why don't we get it started with game number 1? First game of the week, and this is a game we have in common. Every week we always, before we roll tape, we do talk to each other about what games we're going to be talking about. We don't have to go through what our actual picks are, but for the sake of production and order of how we're filming, we do discuss what games we are. We've got 2 games in common this week, and this is one of them.
And for me, trying to come from behind, this sucks, by the way. So
you never know what the picks are.
I have to hope that even though we have 2 of the same games, you put a different bet on the game. So
well, let's find out.
We'll find out right now. I'm finding out when you find out.
First game, Washington Commanders favored by 4.5 at the Dallas Cowboys, over under 44. Washington's still fighting for a playoff spot. I mean, in terms of the seeding, not just actual play. They clinched the spot. It really comes down to whether or not they want to play against the Rams or Buccaneers or the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think the Washington Commanders would rather play against the Rams or the Buccaneers right off the bat. They
beat the Eagles last time, so who knows?
Well,
who knows?
I think they split with the Eagles. I don't think they want to face them a third time.
Yeah.
I really think they want to avoid that Eagles matchup. But if they do beat the Cowboys, it's a number 6 seed in the NFC, so that's good to see for them. We've got, let's see. We've got Dallas is 3-0 against the spread in their last 3 games against the Commanders, which is kind of interesting. They're 2-3, though, against the spread in their last 5 home games. We've got Jerry Jones already saying that Mike McCarthy is going to be back, and even though the Cowboys are playing better than they have been over the last couple of weeks here, they're still not at full strength. Washington's coming in. They've won 4 games in a row. And I really think, considering that they're going to be playing their starters for the majority of the game, if not all, so they can get that correct seeding that they want, I really think we're going to see win number 5 against Dallas, and I'm going Washington laying the 4.5.
Well, unfortunately for me, I'm going with Washington as well, and I'm not going to be as kind as you. Dallas sucks, and Dallas sucks at home. So look, the Commanders have, like you said, won their last 4 games. The Cowboys have lost each of their last 6 games as underdog following a division loss, and boy, were they smacked around last week by the Eagles. Also, this is where the home team really suffers if you're a Dallas and you're the home team. They have failed to cover the spread in 6 of their last 7 home games against teams with a winning record. And speaking of AT&T Stadium, as you said, the favorites have covered the spread in 5 of the Commanders' last 6 games there. So all things point to the Commanders. And like I said, Dallas is terrible, and they really stink out loud when they're playing in AT&T Stadium.
All right, let's head on over. I can't say anything more to that than what
those are just the numbers, yes. I'm telling you, okay?
So,
Washington.
I really can't add anything to that or detract.
And by the way,
that,
I'm thinking of taking the over in this one, too.
I was
trying to figure out that,
I don't know about that one.
Okay.
But, anyway, let's head on over to the second game of the week. Second game of the week, and this is the other game we have in common this week. The Cincinnati Bengals favored by 1.5 points at the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's an over-under of 48.5. Cincinnati has to win this game to keep the postseason alive. It's as simple as that. The Bengals quarterback, Joe Burrow, has been playing at a very high level in the second half of the season after that really atrocious start that he had. The entire team was really bad in the first half of the season. Burrow's got 8 straight games with 3+ passing touchdowns.
Yep, I got that too.
And whether it's home or on the road, Cincinnati looks just like a completely different team than than the first half of the season. As a matter of fact, in my text that you're going to see on the blog, I made a pun. They look like a different animal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I really didn't mean it that way, but I'm reading it in my notes here, and I'm not saying it out loud. But here we got.
You just did.
Yeah, I just did. Pittsburgh, they're falling apart at the wrong time, and they're hurt. They're playing badly. They're not able to finish off games. The Steelers have lost and failed to cover in 3 straight.
That's exactly what I have in my notes.
While the Bengals have won and covered in 4 straight.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to see 5 here. Pick is Cincinnati laying the 1.5.
Everything you said I have in my notes. I have one extra thing. The Bengals are coming in this with a rest disadvantage. The Steelers played on Christmas Day, so they had that kind of a mini bye. But let's look at the numbers there. The Bengals have won each of their last 8 games as favorites when playing with a rest disadvantage. Even that number is good for the Bengals. So, look, I love the Pittsburgh Steelers. I love them when they're underdogs, and they do amazing things when they're underdogs, but not lately. Like you said, they're on a 3-game losing streak, and they failed to cover in those 3 games. So, and I think the Bengals are just playing at a high, their offense is playing at a very high level. The defense, has some issues still, but I think that's enough to cover the spread. So I'm taking the Cincinnati Bengals and laying the points.
I'll tell you, before that 3-game losing streak by Pittsburgh, I really liked what Pittsburgh
was
doing.
Oh my God, when they were an underdog, especially at home,
yeah,
boy, that was almost an automatic bet. Not anymore. Not in the last month or so.
No.
So,
all right, let's head on over to the last game of the week. Last game of the week, and also last game of the regular season for me.
Yes.
This is a game we didn't have each week.
Thank God, a different game for me. All right, here we go.
New York Giants at the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles are favored by 3 points even.
By the way, I came this close to picking that game too. So
I just didn't like a lot of the other games out there. The over-under is 38.5. This really could be the end of the Brian Daboll era for Big Blue, or as most fans would say, error. For Big Blue there. But they did play really good last week. I liked what they were doing. Drew Lock looked very, very competent back there, but they were playing an Indianapolis team that for some reason didn't even bother showing up, even though Indy needed that game.
They thought they won it. They came in and thought it was an automatic win. They were looking ahead. That's the only reason I saw for what happened on that field against the Giants.
I went with Indy last week, and so did you.
Yeah, I did too. I did too. They had everything in the world to play for, and the Giants had everything in the world to win if they actually lost the game.
Yeah.
Now they started off, the Giants did, with the number 1 pick. Now they're at the number 4 pick. And by the way, if they win this game against the Eagles, they'll probably be picking at number 9 in next year's in the draft. So I don't know what they're doing right now.
Well, Philly, speaking of positions in the draft, Philly's locked in the number 2 spot right now.
Can't do anything.
Can't do
Win,
anything else.
Loss, doesn't matter.
The only thing they got to play for this game is getting Barkley the rushing record, and I think they probably will be letting him play at least for a half.
Well, let
him get as much yardage as possible. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Barkley getting close to 100 yards by the end of the first half, and they may keep him in longer.
Speaking as an Eagles fan, and this is where I want to shut up so you can finish your analysis, I want Barkley to get the record in the first half, take everyone out, all the starters out for the Philadelphia Eagles in the second half, and let the Giants win the game. Because in the long run, it's better for the Eagles because the Giants will be picking at 9th in the draft, and they won't get that franchise quarterback in the draft, I think, if they're looking for the top 2 picks.
He's got a habit of getting a long run in the first half, so he should be able to hit that one. But if he plays, I'm assuming he's going to play. I'm assuming they're going to go for the record for him.
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to be playing quarterback. It's probably going to be Pickett more so than their third stringer. But
they look pretty good, by the way.
But by the way, regardless of who the quarterback is, it's the Philadelphia defense that makes the difference in this game. Much better than Indianapolis's defense. The Eagles are actually not going to roll over like the Colts did. Even if
the second stringers play,
I think the second stringers are much better than the Colts' first stringers. So, but I think right now, again, the only thing the Eagles have to play for is getting Barkley the record. But I still think the defense for the Eagles is going to make the difference here. I'm going Philly and laying the 3.
All right, my next game, finally a different game than you. It's been, 2 weeks, and finally a different game.
5 of the last 6 games.
This is crazy.
Never happened before with this.
Right. Well, I'm going with the Cleveland Browns at the Baltimore Ravens, who are 17.5-point favorites with a total of 42. First, before I give why I think I'm going with the Browns in this one, Baltimore Ravens are going to win this. There's no doubt about it. They're going to win it. I don't think they're going to win it by 17.5 points, especially during a game where Lamar Jackson may not even play the entire game because they're looking for the playoffs, and you don't want to get him hurt. But, let's look at the trends, because I just can't say, they're not going to win by 17.5 points. The Ravens have failed to cover the spread in 8 of their last 9 home games against teams with a losing record, which blew my mind. I couldn't believe that when I saw that. On the other hand, the Browns have covered the spread in 7 of their last 8 games as underdogs following a home loss, which is exactly what's happening here. Again, I think the Browns are going to lose the game, but I think they're going to cover this. So I'm going with the underdog Cleveland Browns in this one.
Well, I've done big spreads all through the season.
I've
done
stayed
14 and 11 and
17.5 is just way too big.
Yeah.
Way too big.
That was too big for me.
For a game where starters may not play the entire game, that's just way too big.
If this was 11 or 14 like the other games I'd done in the past, I probably would have.
If it was 10, I wouldn't even touch this game.
I would have done 11 or 14. 17 is just 17.5 is way too much for me. Yeah. But anyway, those are our 3 games. We'll be right back to wrap up the show and give a recap of what we just picked here. Turnpike Sports Pro Football Show presented by Caesars Sportsbook. Be right back.
Sign up at jackpot.com and you can bet on the world's best lotteries where the biggest jackpots are up for grabs. Powerball, Mega Millions, some of the biggest lotteries can be found at jackpot.com. Simply choose your lotto game, pick your numbers, or use their quick pick feature, and you're done. Sign up at jackpot.com with code DRAW24 and get a free lottery ticket with your first deposit. Jackpot.com, it's the world of lotto in your hand.
Terms and conditions apply. You must be at least 18 years old and in the United States to play. Void where prohibited. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Welcome back to the Turnpike Sports Pro Football Show presented by Caesars Sportsbook. Caesars Sportsbook, the home of Caesars Rewards. We just did our 3 games for Week 18, the final week of the regular season. Why don't we go ahead and recap for everybody? Go ahead, Dave.
I'm taking the Washington Commanders to lay the 4.5 points against the Dallas Cowboys. I'm taking the Cincinnati Bengals to lay the 1.5 points against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'm taking the Cleveland Browns to cover the 17.5-point spread against the Baltimore Ravens.
Well, I did Washington, laid the 4.5. I did Cincinnati, laid the 1.5. And I went with Philly over the Giants and laid the 3 points there. I did all NFC East for some reason this week.
Wow.
And then I did NFC East and AFC
covered
North
it completely.
Here. Yeah, so, but those are our 3 games for the week. This is the final week of the regular season. It's been a fun regular season. It's been great having Caesars Sportsbook all throughout the regular season. We're looking forward to continuing this in the NFL playoffs as well as the Super Bowl. So we'll be back next week with picks for, I guess,
playoff
wildcard
games.
weekend.
Yeah, playoff games.
About time, right?
All right.
Too quick a season.
Yep. Well, that'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next time on the Turnpike. Good luck, everyone.